ora koutou. Welcome to the RMO 2025 Waikato Hospital webinar. My name is Sam and I am the RMO consultant. We're going to start off with an opening karakia by Dr. Nad, and then I will give everyone a brief outline of today's webinar.
E te atua mana ki mai, e te atua awhina mai, e te atua aroha mai, ake, ame.
So thanks again to everyone for taking the time to join today's webinar, and thank you so much to our panelists. We do understand this is valuable time, so we appreciate you all being here with us today. We'll move on to the introduction shortly, but during the webinar, we'll have a video to share with you all, and then we will have a presentation that will be presented by our lovely panelists. And lastly, our RMO representatives will then tell you just a little bit more about their experience at the hospital. Towards the end of the webinar, we will have a live Q&A session. And then finally, we'll close off with the closing karakia. So just a reminder to all our participants, if you do have a question, there is a Q&A box above, so you can drop that into that box throughout the webinar, but just to note that we will be answering those questions towards the end of the session.
Okay, so in the absence of Tina, our RMO manager, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, hi, my name's Tani Sells. I'm the RMO recruitment coordinator for PGY1.
Hi, I'm Rebecca and I'm the medical education officer here at Waikato.
Hi, I'm Director of Surgical Training and Educational Supervisor.
Kia ora, my name's Madeline. I'm a PGY2 doctor and the Chief Surgical Cast Officer for Waikato.
Kia ora, I'm Will. I'm a PGY2 as well, and I am the Chief Medical House Officer.
Hi, I'm Grace. I'm a current PGY2 at Waikato Hospital. I trained at Auckland University and I grew up here in the mighty Waikato.
My name's Dylan. I'm one of the second year house officers working here at Waikato Hospital. I'm from Ngaruawa here. Grew up in the Waikato and trained up in Auckland.
So currently I'm here as a urology house officer, which is a pretty fantastic role here. It means I get lots of opportunities to go to clinics, theatre, ED and do procedural lists. I wanted to get a broad experience and I wanted the opportunity to do subspecialty runs. Waikato is one of the largest teaching hospitals in New Zealand and they offer lots of specialised runs you might not get to do at other places. For instance, this year I'm doing urology, ENT and vascular jobs, all of which have reputations as fantastic learning opportunities for house officers.
When it comes to specific things about our hospital, if that's sort of the motivating factor for why you want to choose a specific hospital to work at, Waikato's got some real cool draw cards in that sort of pool. It's got a real neat balance of urban and rural patients.
It's also just been accredited as the first level 1 major trauma unit in New Zealand, so there's a lot of really fantastic opportunity here.
Other things to think about would be like, how long do you want it to take you to get to work? I remember when I was studying, it took me like 45 minutes to get to work, and here halfway across town takes me like 10 to 15.
PGY1 was a busy year. There's a huge patient load here, so you've got to hit the ground running. The out of hours work can be really hard, but there's always support from registrars and SMOs. You're never left by yourself. And because you're exposed to such huge patient loads, you learn really quickly. Because it's the only tertiary centre for the entire Mid-North Island, we see a really wide range of cases and some pretty unique and interesting presentations of uncommon diseases.
Waikato Hospital has got this sweet balance between being just big enough that you get awesome exposure to specialties, which I reckon is real neat getting some experience in some of these different specialties, be it surgical, be it medical. But it's also just small enough that you get to know all of the RMOs here. I feel like we get to bond, get to hang out, meet each other in the RMO lounge or down at the cafeteria, and you do get a good sense of community.
Last year I got really into snowboarding since we're so close to the mountain. That's got to be one of my new favourite hobbies to have picked up. I love the beach. Raglan's so close and it's so beautiful, and there's just endless amounts of beautiful walks and waterfalls nearby, and yeah, a lot of awesome outdoor stuff to do down here.
One of the things that really sticks out to me about this hospital, especially when I hear about other people from other hospitals, and one of the things I'm proud about from here is that this hospital's made huge progress. Some of the lowest polling runs from house officers have just skyrocketed in their polls over the last, say, 2 to 3 years because of the hard work and dedication of the people above us in sort of management roles who are working hard to make the house officer job better. To know that my DHB cares enough for me, that it's willing to do this across multiple specialties is just amazing. And also to know that I can advertise to you guys that you could spend your first year working here as a house officer and that people would care about you and about how your experience is going to be, and that if you had feedback that it would be listened to. Yeah, that's huge, and I really value that about here.
Okay, so it says, welcome to the Waikato District. The agenda that we can go through is a bit about welcome to the Waikato, talk about the area, attractions, a bit about the campus here at the hospital, information about the RMO units, a bit about PGY1 teaching, clinical attachments we offer for PGY1, a bit about what PGY2 looks like, preference selection and the recruitment process in June.
I'm just going to be giving a little bit about Waikato facts. Hamilton is central to everyone within 1 or 2 hours drive. Auckland, Rotorua, East and West Coast, Watermore Caves, skiing at Ruapehu. Hamilton was crowned the most beautiful city in 2020. Hamilton has 3 international sport venues: the FMG Stadium, International Cricket Ground at Seddon, Claudelands Event Centre. The population is approximately 185,000. It must have risen. I mean, this is the stats for 2023. We've sort of a home to almost 160 ethnicities. The climate is mild, moderate year-round, and rainfall keeps the city and surrounding areas very green. We are the home to the chiefs. There are many more attractions to our region. So welcome to Waikato District campuses. So Waikato Hospital is based in Hamilton, but under the Waikato District, there are other smaller hospitals also. Waikato Hospital is a teaching hospital and the major tertiary referral center providing specialized and emergency health care for all the Te Manawataki region. It's the only major district in New Zealand to offer all surgical specialties on one campus and is the major trauma hospital for the Te Manawataki regions. We are a 600-bedded hospital, not including the 200 in mental health. We've got approximately 14 community-based attachments. As a PGY1, you will work mainly at Waikato in site. Waikato District offers well-structured and well-planned postgraduate training for PGY1 house officers, which takes place on Tuesdays from 1:30 to 2:30. New mental health unit is under construction and the renal unit is completed. There are many more reasons which I can tell you to choose Waikato, but we will just leave it to the others to talk about that.
Our hospital has got a large catchment area. We are responsible for teaching over 1 million people, of which 28% are Maoris. So we have got 550 inpatient beds in Waikato Hospital, and there are many satellite hospitals which come under Waikato catchment. So total number of beds which under Waikato region is over 1,000. We have got 24 main operating theatre in Waikato Hospital with procedure rooms, 4 cath lab, including hybrid cath lab, where we do all sort of complicated procedure, including vascular, 4 endoscopy suites with other hospitals in other regions. So total number of surgical procedures performed last year were more than 34,000. We have a very busy emergency department. The average daily emergency presentation in Waikato Hospital was 227.
Just moving on to a little bit about the teaching opportunities for PGY1s. So there's a formal education course that happens every Tuesday from 1:30 to 2:30. That's protected teaching time. And there's other protected training times throughout the week regarding what specialty you're on. So within each specialty, that service will provide an hour teaching for you per week. So general surgery would have an hour, orthopedics has an hour, cardiology has an hour, psychiatry has an hour, medicine has an hour. These are run by SMOs or advanced trainees in their field, and they normally present on topics that they are either doing research in or as a subspecialty of theirs. We also have sim lab trainings, so in these you learn to improve your suturing skills, learn how to do pleural taps, joint taps, lumbar punctures, ultrasound cannulation. There's an on-campus auditorium where our teachings mainly are, and there's a library that offers 24/7 access if necessary.
Okay, so a bit about the RMO support service. So we look after all the RMO recruitment and the rostering. In terms of recruitment, we have up to 600 RMOs at any one time, so including health officers and registrars. We coordinate all the PGY1 selection within the ACE process as well. Help organise orientation for all the new RMOs, being the big ones at the changeovers, and then also sort of ad hoc throughout the year as people join us. And we manage all the allocation of the house officer clinical attachments. We also do the rostering for medicine for both registrars and house officers, surgical house officers, registrars and surgical house officers for ICU. And we write some rosters for ONG and paediatrics, manage leave, relief pools, do things with CME and expense claims, many things. So we're a key support service for all RMOs. We are your first point of contact if you have general queries, got problems with expense claims, payroll. If you want to do a leave request, including medical education leave, bereavement leave, and just looking after everybody's health and well-being generally.
So as mentioned at the start, Will and I are the Chief Health Officers this year for Waikato, and in that role, it's our responsibility to help support the junior doctors in the Waikato district, especially for PGY1s and you guys stepping up to be doctors for the first time. It's always good to know that you've got some people that you're easily able to reach out to. So in this role, we advocate for you, and this is in situations where you might have concerns with workplace conflict. If you can see anything that might be good for systemic improvement, you can contact us either via text if you know us personally, or email us to bring ideas forward. And then every month we have a RMO council meeting at which Will and I sit on that council, and we can discuss anything that has been brought forward by you guys in those meetings. The other thing I just wanted to talk about is the facilities that we have available. So we have quite a large RMO lounge, which has got lazy boys, which are quite nice to sit on when you're on a night shift and you have a moment of peace. There's also a kitchen with pretty good options for coffee, tea, toast, frozen meals are kept there by the kitchen staff overnight. And there's also some sleep rooms, which you can book preemptively for nights as well. Yeah, especially just touching on night shifts, because I think this is where we use this lounge the most. You'll find registrars in here sometimes, and they're pretty approachable, especially at night time.
Cool. Amenities wise, we've got a pretty good cafeteria, which we've got access to. We can get one meal on a short day, and as RMOs, we're entitled to two on a long day. The star of the show, I reckon, is the salad bar. It's kind of sets us apart. But generally, yeah, the food all around's really good. There's vegetarian options, which are nice, as well as some gluten-free things as well. There's also cafes around as well if you like for some good coffee. Social-wise, like the video says, it's a really short commute wherever you live in Hamilton. Don't be surprised if you're commuting more than 15 minutes to get to work. As we live as our hospital so close to the lake, that's perfect for a post-work walk or jog. There's also within the social group things, there's a RMO walk we had last year, which was pretty cool. Given that our group is relatively tight knit, there's a lot of kind of like social activities that go on outside, and you become quite close to all your colleagues. We're pretty close to Raglan as well. So yeah, great in the summertime for a post-work swim, lots of hiking as well. There's a really good restaurant scene, which has kind of grown in the last couple of years.
Okay, so about the ACE recruitment process, after the ranking and selection is complete, ACE will notify everybody if they've been successful or not. We send out offer letters on the 1st of September, and acceptances are due back on the 8th of September. We also send out a preference form to allocate streams at that time, so you can tell us what streams you're interested in. And then the telephone opens after that, and everybody is start date for us was the 12th of January. We run a one week induction, which is compulsory for everybody, and then quarter one starts on the 19th week after. So technically offered for PGY1, all the ones that are listed there. So everything from gender through to respiratory, for plastics to urology. So when you do the preference form, you get something that looks like this. It's basically what a stream might look like. So alternating runs in terms of medicine and surgery, balance between the two, and you can pick 5 that appeal to you. We'll run it through a selection algorithm, and we will allocate you something hopefully that you're interested in from there. And then you'll receive a letter to confirm what your allocation is for PGY1 in terms of what attachments you're going to do.
I think Will and I definitely, as being like surgical and medical, have different experiences over, especially as a PGY1. So for me, I started off as a PGY1 doing general surgery, which was kind of, you know, sink or swim situation. It's a very large specialty, very high patient load, especially being a tertiary centre. But to be honest, everything after doing general surgery to start felt a lot easier, because when you start with 40, 50 patients, suddenly when you have 20, they're pretty okay. Then the staff here are really supportive. The consultants are really hands-on. You have a provisional education supervisor which looks after you for your first 2 years, and you have a supervisor each rotation that you do that checks in with you 3 times throughout that rotation to make sure you know you're doing okay. In my first year, I got to do quite a lot of procedural work, and that's just by putting your hand up and putting yourself forward for those opportunities. So I got to do a lot of small operations on my own, and then a lot of bigger operations being the first assist. Going down to ED, admitting a lot of patients. So after gen surgery, I then went to ortho, and then after ortho, I then went to psychiatry, and that was a whole different kettle of fish in itself. But that was quite cool for me to see the big contrast between the very big, massive hospital to the smaller psych unit, very much. How would I explain it? Like slower paced than surgery. And then I finished on cardiology, which cardiology, our department here is quite a busy department. As mentioned, we have quite a large catchment. So anyone that needed an angiogram that was in any of the peripheral type centres, such as Taranaki or Rotorua or Tauranga, they would come here. So that was quite a busy area. But once again, registrar is very hands-on, consultants very hands-on, love great learning opportunities. Hamilton's not where I'm from, so for me it was moving away from home, which seemed a bit daunting. But as Will mentioned, we're quite a close-knit group of house officers here, and we always like to do big things together, be that potlucks, trips to the beach, things like that, which is quite good. Yeah, PGY2 is just a step up of that now. So yeah, that's to Will.
Yeah, so I'm at the other end of the spectrum in terms of professional interests. I've always kind of been medically inclined. So I was fortunate enough to start my PGY1 off in haematology, which was an interesting start. Quite specialised, but really supportive learning environments. Also pretty hands-on as well. I was able to get stuck into some bone marrow biopsies and LPs within the first couple of months. So it's pretty cool to get amongst in terms of that. I also did a couple of surgical runs as well last year. I did orthopedics and general surgery, which even though wasn't really my cup of tea, I was able to draw on that. There was really supportive learning environment, and I've been able to draw on those kind of skills that I've taken from those runs into my medical rotations as well. So I ended up doing respiratory medicine, back into urology, but now I'm currently on medical and radiation oncology, which is a really cool environment to be part of. Yeah, I did my 4th year of medicine here in my TI year here, so I've been here for about 4 years almost now, and there's no place I'd rather be. It's a really good place.
What are the top key things that you look for in an applicant during your selection and ranking process?
Key thing for us is people who want to be at Waikato. You know, people who have an interest in being here. If you've got some connections to here, like family support, things like that. So, you know, put front and centre that Waikato is really where you're interested in being. That's a really key thing for us. really.
And cover letters, is that very important? Is that something that you require as part of your selection and ranking process?
People do submit cover letters, yes, and we do ask for them. They don't have to be an essay, but yeah, please write us a cover letter to explain your motivations for wanting to come here. That would be great.
Another general question we have is around accommodation. Is it easy to find, and would you have an average accommodation costs that you could share?
I had a friend that was a doctor here already who added me into our Waikato residential doctors Facebook page, where at normal times of staff changeovers, so for house officers that's 3 monthly and for registrars that's 6 monthly. There tends to be the times where people advertise properties on there that are available to rent, and it's usually quite easy to find somewhere on there because it's just a RMO and another RMO moving in, so that's pretty good. And I came from Wellington and I was paying upwards of $250 a week in Wellington, and I'm paying about $180 here for a house that's quite a lot nicer. And I'm about 200 meters away from work. So I'd say it's a lot more affordable living up here for sure.
Yeah, it is really affordable. I'm paying about $140 a week at the moment. But I share a room with my partner. But again, that's the better part of the house.
First one, is there a staff gym at the hospital?
There's not a gym, but there is a fitness passport, which we're part of.
Yeah.
So for $14 a week, I believe, about that, you'll get access to, there's a few good gyms around Hamilton, but also nationwide. There's also a lot of corporate discounts for gyms like Les Mills and BFT, which I'm part of. And they also have really good corporate challenges as well.
What types of things or information are you looking for in the cover letter?
Motivations, why you're interested in working at Waikato, a bit about you, sort of career aspirations. Again, it doesn't have to be an essay, basically why you're interested in working here. It's the main one.
I would also say that everyone comes out of medical school with an MD-CHB, so write in your cover letter what's going to set you apart from someone else. I'd say that's quite important.
We have another question which I can, from an ACE perspective, maybe touch on slightly. So when Waikato looks to recruit or fill numbers from the talent pool, does a candidate's preference for Waikato count? So, for example, candidate A has Waikato preferenced as first option versus candidate B, who Waikato preferenced as fourth option. So I know that where a candidate has preferenced a district, it's not disclosed to the districts at all. That's kept confidential as part of the ACE process. And when you move into the talent pool, preference isn't accounted for in that information that's provided, and it's open to all employers. I don't know if you had anything else to touch on, Tani.
No, and that covers it.
I hope that answered your question. Next one, thank you so much for your time. Is there a link for the EOI? If not, how do you get on the list? And 2, do you have an interview process?
So in terms of PGY1s coming out of medical school, it's application through the ACE process and it's allocations by ACE. And we don't have an interview for that. Separate PGY1s at other times.
Next question, is there a preference for Auckland versus Otago graduates or people who have had placements at Waikato?
No, not at all. Either is absolutely fine with us.
The general question that has come through in previous webinars is about parking facilities and if there is a space for bikes.
Bikes, absolutely yes. There's secure bike sheds that you can have access added to your fob for. That's no problem. Our parking situation is not amazing here. There is a big public car park, which is patients and staff can park in it, it's paid parking. There is staff parking, but there's a long waiting list for it. They do tend to try and allocate parking for nights and long days out of hours, so where they can. But otherwise, yeah, there is some parking on the streets around the hospital.
And there's obviously also the option for public transport, I'm sure that may.
Yeah, we've got good public transport links here too.
Oh, and I don't know if you touched on it, but on long days, there is taxi chats available at the duty manager's office. So if you come on a form of public transport or someone's dropped you off at work, there's free taxi chats that are available for you to be able to get home at the end of long days as well.
The other question that came through with regards to the parking is, could you let our participants know what streets around the hospital do the PGY2s recommend parking on?
I suppose we can give away our secrets.
Yeah.
Around Hibiscus Ave.
Yes. This is
That's
Elephant Street.
where the free parking.
Yeah.
That's sort of thing.
Yeah. And then Sandley Road, but you have to be there before about 7:30, otherwise you won't get one. And then there's Lake Crescent, but there's some that are about like a 2-hour limit, so you're gonna kind of look for the ones that aren't.
Yeah, the public parking's 7.50 a day though, so it's pretty
Yeah.
cheap in terms of late park.
Thank you. We had another question, which again, from the ACE perspective, I could answer. Just to confirm, is it the hospital or the ACE or ACE that ranks us? So ACE will assess your application, and we have a nationally agreed ACE score, which has a few components in it. So it's references, scholarships is taken into account, and a few other components of that. That ACE score is provided to the employers that you have preferenced. However, from that point on, the districts and the employers will then go through their own selection and ranking process, and they will then rank you from 1 to the end of the number of applicants that have preferenced that employer. Another question we have: some people recommend emailing or contacting the RMO office to express interest. That may help in getting selected. Is this true, and how do we contact?
Not a necessity. You can if you want to, but as long as it's noted somewhere within your application, such as in your cover letter, that you're interested in coming to Waikato, that's the main thing, really. Contacting us is sort of the backup option in case people don't forget to mention, why they're interested in coming here. We can revert back to that. Say, hey, look, this person's contacted us before to say they're keen, but it's definitely not a necessity.
Another question: does having one generic reference affect the ACE ranking? I'm not sure on what that question means with regards to a generic reference. So it's part of your application process. You have a requirement that you need to request a maximum of 3 references, and then once those references are completed, you assign them to your application, and then the employers that you have preference will be able to view that reference. I don't know if there's any other comments that you want to touch on.
I just wonder if they mean one generic cover letter instead of one generic reference would be my only thing if they thought they meant that. Which I would always say, if you're going to do a cover letter, it's good to make it specific to the hospital you're applying for.
If in talent pool, what reasons strengthen my application to being picked? Is this seen via a Waikato Hospital specific cover letter that you can view, or do I only have one generic cover letter whilst in the talent pool? So again, I can touch on that from the ACE perspective. All the documents that are available to the employers as part of the ACE process is available to the employers within the talent pool. They will have visibility of all those documents as what they did through the match process. But I don't know if there was anything else specific other than what Waikato you've mentioned currently in terms of what you view or select as part of that process when you're looking in the talent pool. Great, thank you. And I guess another tip is, if you are moved into the talent pool, you are able to contact those districts that you are interested in working at, and you could let them know that you are in the talent pool if there are any other available positions that have come up. It's another way to indicate to that employer. I think we'll ask one more question while I double check I've answered all the questions. Could you let our participants know a little bit about the orientation week, what they have to look forward to and what that entails?
Yeah, so we've got a very robust orientation process in Waikato here. And this year we've completely gone paperless. So we do a SharePoint where all details about the orientation and the different documents that they need to read, everything is sent to the intern before they come to the hospital, so they're just quite aware of what's happening. We send them the maps, we send them the different forms that we use. So basically even a link to the medical council, and which we think that might be useful for them. So I put everything together in a SharePoint, and everything has been sort of electronically sent to them. So it's no longer a paper-based orientation at all. And it's a 5-day orientation that we do. And we've got different presenters from different services coming in presenting. And in fact, it's quite good. Yeah, the orientation process is quite good here at Waikato.
So I don't see any more questions that have come through, but if our participants have any questions that they might have thought after the webinar, they're more than welcome to contact myself if it's anything to do with the ACE process. My details are available on the ACE RMO website. And then if it's anything to do with the employer directly, who would be the best person to contact at the RMO
Me.
unit?
That would be me. Probably the easiest email to get me on. My name is weird. You can just email RMO recruitment, all one word, and that's at waikatodhb.health.nz.
I think those details are available on the ACE RMO website under the employer information section as well, if you need to refer back to that. Before we end and I pass back over to Dr. Nand, is there any final comments that you would like to share with us today?
No, I think we've covered everything quite well. Unless they have any specific question, we are very happy to answer. But yeah, I'm sure you'll enjoy your run in Waikato. You'll stay in Waikato. I've been in Waikato for more than 20 years now, and I won't go anywhere else.
I'm getting lots of thank you so much. That was really helpful. And another question's quickly popped in. So paper versus electronic notes at Waikato Hospital.
50-50 really. If you work in psychiatry, it's all electronic. Your community runs are pretty much electronic. All of our discharge paperwork, ordering of bloods and everything, that's all electronic, but all your drug charts, which I think might be what you're alluding to, is paper at the moment, and all of our clinical notes are by hand. I know that we're looking into the process of moving electronic in the near future. But just with being quite a large hospital, it's just making sure that we do that in a smooth fashion and we have everything in place beforehand. But for people that are coming from hospitals that have used electronic prescribing and electronic notes, in your orientation week, you actually have an opportunity to meet with our pharmacists who go over paper drug charts and how to use those appropriately so that you're not lost.
Thank you again to our panelists for your time and obviously to our participants for watching. If your friends or colleagues haven't been able to join the live session today, this will be uploaded to the ACE RMO YouTube channel within a few days. You can look out for that. But I will now hand over to Dr. Nand to close us off with a kata clear. Thank you.
Kia toto rangi marie, ki runa ina iwi o tio. Let your peace reign on all the people of the world.
Great. Thank you so much and have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.